Hope everyone is doing good. So this is a short tutorial I'm making on understanding Python and what to know before anybody would like to start learning Python, why you should learn Python, why Python, and who can learn Python. So to begin with, when we talk about Python, Python is just an interpreted, object-oriented, high-level programming language with dynamic semantics. In short, Python is just a programming language, and it is also a scripting language which we can use in building applications and also writing just simple codes um, to automate workflows. So in simple terms, Python is just a programming language which you can learn to program whatever you want to program or write scripts to go and do something in a simple in a website or in a software. Then again, when we come down to who can learn Python, a lot of people we come down to what can Python do. So basically, one of the things that we are supposed to know before trying to learn any programming language is what the programming language can do, so that it will order which programming language we want to learn. So for us to understand what Python is and why we should learn Python, then the one thing we have to know is what can Python do. So if I learn Python, what can I use Python for? So what some of the things that Python can do are as follows, and you can see it on the screen. We can use Python on a server to create web applications. So for example, you can use Python with Flask or Django to create web applications, and these applications are great. They are quite simple to do, and it's wonderful what you can do with Python. And you can use Python alongside software to create workflows. And then with workflows, we are just talking about for example, you can use Python in data engineering to queue data when loading batch data into a cloud database or a database somewhere else. So once you can automate the system to be able to determine at which specific time the data should be collected into the database. So with this, it's an example of using Python to create a workflow. And we can also connect to database systems. So like I was saying, you can, with data engineering, you can use Python to connect to the databases like Postgres, Oracle, SQL, Oracle, MySQL, a lot of other databases. And it comes with some third-party software, which makes it very easier to connect with these databases to be able to read and modify files. Then again, Python can be used to handle, yes, so talking about the database, for example, in Django, we have something called models, and these models, you just when you write the models and you run migrations, it just blueprints whatever you have written in your migrations into the database, and then the connection also uses Python. So that's just an example of how it helps you to connect to databases. Then Python can be used to handle big data and perform complex mathematics. So we see data science being used these days, and a lot of people are using Python for data science nowadays. Even though R is still being used for data science, we see a lot of people using Python for data science. For example, when we come to machine learning, we have more people using Python for machine learning developments and applications. So we can use Python for some of these things. And then when we come down again, another thing that Python can do is that Python can be used for rapid prototyping or for production-ready software development. So in other words, Python helps you to be able to create applications which you can easily deploy. Then why Python? Why Python? So why should I learn Python? So based on what Python can do, it will be easier for us to know why we should learn Python. So some of the reasons why we should learn Python is because Python works on different platforms. You can use Python on Windows, you can use Python on Mac, you can use Python on Linux, you can use Python on Raspberry Pi. Then again, Python has a simple syntax similar to English. So, for example, then I was trying to learn Java, and Java comes with a complex syntax when you just want to write and print hello world. But with Python, you just have to write print hello world, and your hello world is going to be printed. So it's just a simple syntax similar to English. Then Python has syntax that allows developers to write programs with fewer lines than some other programming languages. So it's similar to what we just said. For instance, if you want to just write hello world in your IDE, your interpreted development environment, what you do is you just write print hello world. But if you are writing in Java, then Java you have to write about 3-4 lines before you get your hello world. So Python is fast and easy. Python runs on an interpreted system, meaning that code can be executed as soon as it is written. This means that prototyping can be very quick. This is easy to understand. Python can be treated in a procedural way, an object-oriented way, or a functional way. So in Python, when we talk about object-oriented programming, it has more to do with writing codes that are able to simulate real-life cases or scenarios. So Python helps you to be able to write codes which are able to do that. It helps you to be able to write functions also. Functions are just um, scripts or codes that we write for giving them a purpose. So for example, you can see a function name. When we when we write a function name, then we'll define the name, and we'll tell the name to just taking maybe a variable, taking an argument, and that argument is that you put in your name, and when you put in your name, it should output or return the name of whatever you injected, whatever name you injected into the function. So function is just writing codes that helps to do something, and then that particular code you write can be reused at any time. So functions comes with reusability. Okay, then the last one, we have Python developers are in demand in these current times. Yes, so we see a lot of Python developers being in demand in these times and in these seasons now because of the high demand for Python, because of the demand that is in data science now, and the demand that is also in machine learning, because a lot of research are being done in those areas. Then we come down to who can learn Python. So anybody can learn Python. It just depends on what you want to do with the Python. So basically, what do you want to do? Why do you want to learn Python? And then once you get hold of that, it will be much more easier for you to learn Python. So that is it for today. We'll see you at another time. Bye.